Edit. Wow, you guys. I was not expecting such supportive words. It really means a lot. I've had odd jobs here and there, mostly babysitting ironically and dog walking, but my options get pretty limited when we don't really have reliable transportation, and our housing situation isn't very stable. Made sure to get volunteering experience too. Living with my dad is an option if I'd be homeless otherwise. He is financially stable but kind of worse in other ways. He does help me hide some of my money though, and my grades are excellent and I'm definitely gunning for a scholarship. I do have some options. Basically, don't worry about me too much. But thank you again. I'm not sure I've ever heard such nice things from internet strangers. Hey there, only child here. Throw away because my folks are creepy internet stalkers and will probably find this, but I don't want them seeing my real post history. Also, I'm writing this at school, so maybe I'm the AH for that. LOL. To put it bluntly, my mom and stepdad, both around 46 years old, aren't really cut out to be parents. I know that means a lot coming from me, but we basically rarely have food in the house, and we've lost our living situation more times than I can count, because my parents would rather do anything but work. On top of that, I'm pretty sure we'd qualify for some kind of assistance, but they refuse to apply for anything, and my mom won't even pursue updated child support from my dad. They only ever chose to even live on base back when we did when my stepdad was enlisted as a last resort. Not saying we live there now, since there's a wannabe detective in the comments, just illustrating how little sense these people make. They both expect their families to give them money whenever they want, and my stepdad is trying to fight for military benefits. He was dishonorably discharged. Additionally, my mom is histrionic as hell, and my stepdad is so proud of the fact he served in a war, Iraq, I think, that he ties everything into that and claims if we even startle him or anger him in any way, we could set him off to attack us. I don't think he would. Worst he's done is throw things, but it's pretty deranged. Even so, my mom is obsessed with babies. My parents are weirdly neglectful, which suits me just fine because I like being left alone, but selectively over-involved because they sometimes want attention. That's why I think they're considering a kid who can't escape from them as easily, LOL. But in all seriousness, I think it's a bad idea. I know it's not my choice, but whenever it's brought up, I tell them I will not be helping in any way. I don't like babies, never have. My mom chalks it up to jealousy, but in reality, I'm germophobic. And also, my mom is always talking about them, bringing them over whenever she can, family or neighbors' babies, and giving them my stuff. So of course, I'm never happy to hear about them. It finally came to a head last night when my mom dismissed what I said and told me I'd change my mind, and if I heard the baby cry, I wouldn't be so heartless as to leave it. I told her no, when, if she has it, I'm putting earplugs in and locking my door at night. I know it won't stop them, but it'll make it harder for them to wake me. I told her I want nothing to do with the hypothetical baby and would move out ASAP, which I would either way. I might like them when they're old enough to be a person, but before then, I don't care if they ground me and take all my stuff away. I would not babysit, change diapers, or anything else. In reality, I probably would do some stuff. But if I give my parents an inch, they take a mile. I told my mom she's always telling me her stories of resentment of being parentified, so I'm surprised she'd try to force me. Of course, I know the difference between being parentified and helping out, but I wanted to make a point. She spent the night weeping loudly that she raised such a cruel and heartless person, and my stepdad is pretending I don't exist. Maybe I was a little harsh, but I don't think I was out of line. Some of my friends, especially the ones who have siblings, said I was being a weenie though. They think my mom is super nice, haha. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the idiot. But you probably don't have much to worry about. At 46, your mom would be a high-risk pregnancy. Over 36 is now considered an advanced maternal age pregnancy. You mom and SD sound unhinged. They haven't provided for you. How do they think an infant is going to fit into the picture? Stick to your guns and refuse to even entertain their crazy ideas. Comment 2. No 16-year-old should be getting up at night to care for a baby. That's insane. All you should be doing is playing with the kid if you choose to do so. If you choose to help in any way, that's a bonus. It's your choice. The good news is that fairly soon you'll be a legal adult. Go to college somewhere else, get roommates, and move out. Set boundaries. Now for the update. Wow, you guys. I was not expecting such supportive words. It really means a lot. So, remember how I mentioned my mom's baby obsession? Well, turns out she wasn't just talking, she's pregnant. And guess who's expected to be the built-in babysitter? Yep, me. But here's the kicker. My mom's been hiding her prenatal visits from everyone, even my stepdad. I only found out because I overheard a call she made to her sister, bragging about how she's going to have the perfect little family now. My stepdad, on the other hand, has been acting strange. He's been unusually quiet, and I caught him looking at old military photos and documents. I thought he was just being nostalgic, but no. He's been forging documents to claim military benefits he's not entitled to. I stumbled upon the evidence when I was looking for my birth certificate for a school project. I felt like I was in some twisted movie, finding out your parents are not just neglectful, but also frauds. I confronted him about it, and he just laughed it off, saying that the government owes him for his service. I couldn't believe the nerve. I wanted to report him, but I was scared of what he might do if he found out it was me. So I kept quiet, but it's eating me up inside. In the midst of all this, my real dad reached out. He's been keeping tabs on me in a non-creepy way, and he knows about the situation at home. He offered me a way out, a place to stay with him. I'm torn because, despite everything, I feel guilty about leaving my mom, especially now that she's pregnant. But I also can't shake off the feeling that my stepdad's dangerous games might catch up to us all. And then, as if things couldn't get more complicated, my mom had a miscarriage. It was a shock to everyone. She's been inconsolable, and my stepdad, well, he's been surprisingly supportive. It's like they flipped a switch and suddenly became the caring parents they never were. But I can't help but feel relieved, which makes me feel like a monster. I'm stuck in this cycle of guilt and resentment, and I don't know how to break free. To top it all off, my stepdad's forgery came to light. Someone reported him. Wasn't me, I swear. And now there's an investigation. He's convinced it was me who turned him in, and he's been giving me these looks that make my skin crawl. I'm walking on eggshells trying to keep my head down until I can move out. But here's the real twist. My mom knew about the forgery all along. She was in on it. She confessed to me in a moment of weakness, thinking it would bring us closer. Instead, it's pushed me further away. I can't look at her the same way. I feel betrayed, and I don't know who these people are anymore. I'm counting down the days until I can leave. I've been saving every penny, and with my dad's help, I might just make it out of here. But I can't shake off the feeling that there's more to come, that the other shoe is about to drop. I just hope I can get out before it does. Thanks for reading. My ex ditched my beloved cat in a park over a car scratch, so I left him alone and heartbroken while I found my furry friend and started a new chapter of happiness. I, 26-year-old female, had been with Tom, 30-year-old male, for 7 years. We are no longer together, and there were a lot of things that happened that made me break off the engagement. One of which being my cat being dropped off without my permission. I was out one morning getting a new trash can because we needed one for the new house. That morning, I had finally, after searching a few different stores, found one that I thought would fit nicely in the area we needed it to go. I messaged Tom a couple of pictures and asked him to pick from the selection of ones that would fit. He responded with the number of the one he liked and then sent, "I dropped off your cat." I immediately thought he was talking about dropping him off at the vet, so I messaged back, "At the vet? Is he okay?" And received no response until I called him. He said that my cat scratched his car, so he dropped him off at a park about 5 miles from the house that had no houses around. He did this with his best friend who was living with us at the time and trying to get on his feet after leaving the military with no job lined up, which of course put strain on the relationship considering it was only supposed to be a couple of months, and at this point was closer to 8 months. I immediately started crying because this cat was my first cat. He also gave me this cat and knew I loved this cat. He was basically my child. The cat was put outside because he didn't like living with a dog and started using the bathroom outside of the litter box. And yes, we tried everything from calming cat pheromones to spray to attraction litter, etc. After none of these things worked, we put him outside. Needless to say, my cat started to do what cats do, climb up on things. Mostly my car, but I didn't mind it. Tom had mentioned he hoped my cat didn't start doing it with his car, but I told him if the cat did, we would figure something out, whether that was a car cover or rehoming him if we had to. I don't agree with declawing a cat, especially an outside cat. Well, apparently my cat had done this once, and Tom decided he wouldn't tell me and take matters into his own hands if my cat did it again. Tom said he walked outside that morning and saw a scratch on his car and knew it was the cat. I asked him how he knew it was the cat. He said he saw it on the cameras. I asked him to show me, and he refused. So I stayed there for about a month, going every morning and sitting in the spot where he dropped off my cat, bringing clothes that I had worn the day before and setting them out there, every day at about 4 a.m. I talked to construction workers in the area, left my phone numbers with people living closest to the park, and even had friends and family come out to help me walk in the woods looking for my cat. I did everything, with no help from Tom, after I cried for a solid month every morning about my cat. So after seeing all of this, with no apology, I called off the wedding and left packing all my things within a week. I think about this scenario a lot, and I've always wondered, am I the jerk? Or do you think I did the right thing by leaving him? Edit. For the people concerned about the cat originally being an inside cat full-time, this was not the case. The cat was an indoor-outdoor cat, and he was still allowed in for bad weather or small intervals of time so that I could watch him and make sure he didn't make a mess in the house. He was adopted as a fully outside cat and was raised outside by his cat mom. Edit 2. The dog was elderly, and my ex didn't own this dog. It was the friend's dog who my ex repeatedly let overstay his welcome in our home. That would be a whole saga on its own. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the idiot. He clearly didn't respect you if he's going to take your cat and drop him off in a park without ever having a discussion with you. But I have to ask. The cat was put outside because he didn't like living with a dog. Did the cat come before the dog? And if so, then why didn't the dog go outside, or why wasn't the dog rehomed? Comment 2. Not the idiot. He may well have ended the life of your cat by just dropping it off. Frick that guy. Now, for the update. Thanks for all the comments on my last post. So, a lot has happened since then. I've been trying to move on, but it's been tough. I found a small apartment, and it's been okay. Just really quiet without my cat. I've been keeping busy with work and trying to meet new people, but it's not easy. Last week, I got a call from one of the construction workers I had talked to before. He said he saw a cat that looked like mine near the park. My heart jumped. I rushed over there, but after hours of searching, I found nothing. It was like a punch in the gut all over again. Meanwhile, Tom's friend, the one who was supposed to stay for a couple of months, finally moved out of Tom's place. I heard from a mutual friend that he got a job in another state and left without much notice. Tom was apparently blindsided and kept calling me, probably looking for someone to vent to. I didn't answer. I've been thinking a lot about how Tom never really took responsibility for his actions. He never apologized for what he did to my cat or how he made me feel. It's like he didn't understand why I was so upset. And his friend, well, he just took off without a word. It made me realize how little these people cared about anyone but themselves. But then something happened that I didn't expect. I was at work when I got a text from Tom's mom. She said she needed to talk to me urgently. We met at a coffee shop, and she told me Tom had been in an accident. He was okay, but his car was totaled. She said he'd been distracted and upset lately, probably because of the breakup and his friend leaving. I didn't know how to feel. Part of me was worried about Tom, but another part of me was angry that he was still affecting my life. His mom asked if I would consider talking to him, just to give him some closure. I told her I'd think about it. A few days later, I decided to go see Tom. I needed closure too. When I got to his place, he was different. He looked like he'd been through a lot. He apologized for everything, especially for what he did to my cat. He said he regretted it every day and that he missed me. I listened, but I didn't say much. I realized that I had moved on more than I thought. I told him I forgave him, but that it didn't change anything between us. I wished him well and left. As I walked away, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. I was finally free from the drama and the pain. I could start focusing on my own life again. And then, just when I thought things were settling down, I got another call. This time, it was from a lady who lived near the park. She said she found a cat hiding in her shed. She'd seen my flyers and thought it might be mine. I went over there, not daring to hope too much. But when I got there, I saw him. My cat. He was skinny and scared, but it was definitely him. I couldn't believe it. I scooped him up and took him home. Having my cat back has been amazing. It's like a piece of my old life has returned. I've been taking care of him, making sure he's healthy and happy. It's been a lot of work, but it's worth it. So that's where things stand now. I've got my cat, a new place, and a fresh start. It's not perfect, but it's a beginning. And after everything that's happened, that's all I can really ask for. Thanks for reading. My husband secretly took photos of me and our daughter and stole my identity. So I teamed up with his ex and got him arrested for kidnapping. So me, 23-year-old female, and my husband, 27-year-old male, separated a week ago because I kicked him out. I found out that he and his sons were taking pictures of me while I was doing the most basic of things: cooking, cleaning, washing the dishes, and more. It was a bit weird, and I found out that they had used the Free Prints app to print them and have them on paper instead of in their phones. It wouldn't be as weird if I knew about them, but I was none the wiser. I had no clue about this. They had taken them in secret. How I found out was I found them hidden in his eldest son's mattress when I was changing his sheets for him. They also had some of my daughter, not his kid. She is an 8-year-old girl. I had her when I was 15. My husband had a crazy ex-wife, apparently, where she turned out to be a stalker of sorts, and he has a lot of trust issues since then. I'm assuming he had his sons do this with him. They are in their pre-teens, so easily a bribe would have gotten them to do anything. I found a few where I was half naked and getting changed and threw a fit. I got mad at my husband and threw something at him. I am still kinda weirded out. I am only thankful that there weren't any of my daughter unclothed, but the fact that there are some pictures of her fricks me off. He said I should take into consideration his trust issues, and I should forgive him. I'm not filing for divorce yet, but I am getting different advice from multiple people. Am I the idiot for kicking him out of my house? Edit. I asked his mom and everyone who knew him throughout the week, and they said it's all down to his trust issues, which is probably true. But I can't get past how weird it is. Edit 2. Didn't think I needed to mention this, but seems a lot of people are like my husband and have trust issues. Here we go. His sons are 11 years old, and he had them when he was young with the woman who I mentioned earlier, his ex-wife. They were together during high school, and I'm pretty sure they met in primary school, if that makes more sense. Edit 3. For people wondering, my husband met his wife in primary school like I've already said. They got together in high school. They had kids when they were quite young, and she got a job with the FBI when she was older. I'm not sure what happened. I don't know if I even believe his stories anymore, but it is what it is. Edit 4. Don't know why this is such an issue for some people, and some of you don't know how to use your brains. My soon-to-be ex-husband didn't live in my country. He moved here to get away from his ex-wife 3 years ago. I would have been 20. I married him 2 years into our relationship. In fact, we haven't even been married that long. People aren't reading the edits I've put clearly because I've already stated that anything he says could be a serious freaking lie. Thanks to everyone giving me advice. I'm doing what I can. Also, he has custody of his boys because he took them when she didn't know. It all sounds so fricked, I know. It's hard to believe. The people who don't believe make sense. But only I know what I'm saying is true. None of you do. I'll be updating in a week, and while I'm still figuring things out, I've already called for people to check my house and my car for cameras, and people will be taking their electronics to check for more things. Thanks for everyone's advice. It really helped. And I will definitely be divorcing him ASAP. And forgot to mention, English is not my first language. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the idiot. This is so weird. I would never trust him or those kids again. That there are even photos of your kid makes it even weirder. Trust issues is a bogus reason for him to do this. If you take them into account and let him use it as an excuse, he will use that as an excuse for even creepier things. Comment 2. Keep them out and notify the police that a grown man and a couple of teenagers were taking secret photos of an 8-year-old and you. Have a record on file because those boys are going to end up in some very bad places if they keep it up. Edit. Not the idiot. Now for the update. Thanks for the support and advice. It's been interesting to say the least. So after I last updated, things took a turn. I was trying to keep things civil for the sake of my daughter, but then I found out my husband had taken out a loan in my name, a big one. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I knew he was capable of some shady stuff, but this was next level. I was furious and scared because this could ruin me financially. I confronted him about it, and he tried to play it off like it was nothing, said he was planning to invest it in something that would benefit us both. But I wasn't buying it. I mean, how could I? After everything that's happened. I told him I wanted my name off the loan or I'd go to the police. He begged me not to, said it would ruin his life, but I was past caring about his life now. Then, his ex-wife showed up. Out of nowhere. She said she'd been looking for him because he'd taken the boys without her permission all those years ago. She was furious, and I could see why. She had every right to be. She told me she'd been tracking him down for years, and when she found out about the loan, she knew something was up. She said she was going to take him to court for kidnapping and fraud. I was in shock. I mean, I knew he had a past, but kidnapping? That was something else. I felt like I didn't even know the man I'd married. And now, with the loan and his ex-wife back, I was caught in the middle of something much bigger than I'd ever imagined. The next day, I got a call from the bank. They said they'd been alerted to possible fraudulent activity on my account and wanted to meet with me. I went in, and they showed me evidence that my husband had been planning to funnel the loan money overseas. It was clear he'd been planning to run, probably with the boys, and leave me to deal with the fallout. I was devastated. I felt so betrayed. I'd tried to be understanding, to consider his trust issues, but this was too much. I agreed to cooperate with the bank and the authorities. They froze the loan, and I gave them everything I had on him. The pictures, the conversations, everything. The aftermath was messy. My husband was arrested, and his ex-wife got the boys back. I was left to pick up the pieces of my life. I had to explain to my daughter why the man she'd known as her stepfather was a criminal. It was hard, but I knew it was for the best. And then, as if things couldn't get any worse, I found out I was pregnant. His baby. I was alone, betrayed, and now expecting a child with a man who'd lied to me from the start. I had to make a decision about what to do, and it was the hardest choice I've ever had to make. In the end, I decided to keep the baby. It wasn't their fault, and I couldn't punish them for their father's mistakes. It's going to be tough, but I'm determined to make it through this. I've got my daughter, and soon I'll have another child to care for. They're my priority now. I'm still dealing with the fallout from the loan and the betrayal, but I'm getting through it, one day at a time. I've learned a lot about trust and about how sometimes the people you think you know can be the ones who hurt you the most. But I've also learned that I'm stronger than I thought, and I can handle whatever life throws at me. Thanks for reading. If you liked this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day!